welcome in everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast coming to you on a Monday morning. How's it going, guys?
Well, let's see. I got hard water. The guy says he can't install the softener because it'll mess up my septic system. So I'm just trying to weigh do I want good quality poop drainage or do I want nice tasting water with no residue on the stuff? So
that actually describes the Cowboys very accurately.
So we got big decisions to make over here. That's all I'm saying. Big decision Monday.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're talking about poop stains and Cowboys, and I mean, this all makes
sense. You know
what?
Did you see? And I like the way you tied that in as segue. And I did that for you, Bo.
See, and that's why I was late. I was just taking the Cowboys.
Did you wipe with a McCarthy?
There is no doubt.
Like I said earlier, man, this is exactly kind of what I told you guys. I wouldn't expect a lot out of this team this year, and I'm getting exactly.
Okay, I don't even think you expected it to be this bad, though.
Yeah, I don't know that Drummond was pretty freaking. But I do gotta, like I said, I'm not making.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right?
Hey, happy birthday, Jerry.
This is the worst home loss since he bought the team.
It is. Oh, it's terrible.
On his birthday.
But you know what, though? But in all honesty, though, D-Law wasn't out there. Parsons wasn't out there. We were going to take that L no matter what. We were going to take that L. I just don't know if it would have been quite as bad. It may have been 35 or 21.
I mean, that beatdown was...
Yeah, it was. I mean, and the best, but you know what though, the silver lining of it all is maybe Mark McCarthy will finally get fired. And if they would have fired mid-season, I'm okay with that.
I tell you, that game
not firing anybody.
That game was not a McCarthy. That was not on McCarthy at all. That was on the team. They may have quit. They may have quit. And listen, I am not a McCarthy fan, even in the slightest bit, but they did not come to play at all. At all.
Isn't that a little bit on the coach? Isn't the part of the coach stuff to get those guys ready, to get them in that mode, or say, hey, take a hike or something? I mean, they got to have at least some accountability for that. Not all of it, but at least a little.
Well, listen, I kind of look at it and I didn't see the very beginning of the game. I tell you, these games for me are getting harder and harder for me to get out and leave to be able to even get home. It's
I don't know how great your life is, Pags. Let's talk about
I'm not talking about how great you think it's great. That it's like, listen, when you can handle taking 2,500 pictures a game, then you can come back and tell me how great that is. I love hanging out with the people. I love hanging out with the people, but sometimes it gets a lot. It does get a lot.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, that's the job, right? That's the job.
Part of the gig. That is part of the gig. So I signed up for it. I signed up for this.
Can't go to the local mall, okay? Because she's got billions. Okay, I don't feel bad for her.
Well, yeah, because she pays for somebody else to go to the mall for her.
Well, that's true. She probably gets it. Actually,
I was going to say, it's a little different when you are getting all of that end of it without any of the money end of it.
Oh, sure, right, sure.
It's much easier to swallow when you're like, oh yeah, I made a ton of money doing this, as opposed to I might have broke even on this deal.
Well, maybe. Are they giving you free dinners and lunches when you go to restaurants? I mean, have you gotten to that status level yet?
It's funny that you say it like that. I actually have to do an appearance today at a PJ Wheelahan's, which is a local restaurant. But I'm working for that though. I'm going to be making some commercials for them and stuff like that. But yeah, I get to eat there for free. The problem is that when I'm painted up, when everybody recognizes me, I don't eat because face paint don't taste too good.
Well, you know what? I'm a restaurant owner. You do a ring around there so where there's no makeup in that portion. That's all.
No. If I'm a restaurant owner, that is the perfect thing. You can eat here anytime you want when you're painted up.
Hey, listen, if you're going to give me tomahawk steaks, I will risk it.
Right?
Molly said, what do you want to go for Halloween? I said, I'm going to Philly Sports Guy. So I got to get some makeup. I got to shave my beard. I got to do a lot of stuff to be Philly Sports Guy. And I got to put on about 40 more pounds.
John, we appreciate you paying it.
We appreciate you tuning in. And, we do try and make it as inclusive as possible.
And I tell you, John, just to let you know, sometimes what you're reading is actual and not a misprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are sometimes a little on the whack side.
Yeah, I can tell you this, Pegs. When you come up here for the draft next year, I'll be buying your food. You won't have to pay for nothing.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right,
So-
tomahawks it is.
There we go.
I'll take him. I'll take him to. Hey, I'll take him to.
Oh,
I'll take him to the Prime Quarter Steakhouse, and he can pick out his own steak, and they cook it for you.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's cool. He's taking you to McDonald's. Don't let it fool you,
No,
Pags.
Prime
You get the
Quarter-
dollar menu.
He's getting good Wisconsin food when he comes up here.
No,
Hey,
I'm
and you know what?
saying,
You
look,
know what
it's
really
not
cracks me up though? I'll tell a story about the last time I was in Green Bay. We went to a Green Bay game. It was in November. Rodgers was out. We wind up knocking out their backup quarterback in the second series. So their third string winds up playing. So we win in Green Bay the year that I went. That being said, I go with my boys. We always go and we do our thing. So it's like the four of us. And the four of us usually go out and get steak dinner. And then we go and we hit a club that fancies for gentlemen. You know what I mean? A gentleman's club. And I tell you, in Green Bay, you could almost count teeth versus toes and see who wins. And it's funny. It's actually
So
it
you
was
didn't-
probably the most entertaining that I have ever been in a strip club, because it's hysterical.
So you didn't go to the good strip club then, apparently.
I probably did not. In fact, you don't want to go to the good strip club. You want to go
Well,
get
I mean,
entertained. Are
if
you
you
not
want-
entertained?
I mean, if you want first class service, you got to go to the Oval Office.
yeah, you got that pickup line. That's a pretty tooth you've got.
Well, I mean, the Oval
You got a
Office.
pretty
is-
I
Now.
will tell you this, and I will tell you this, stat guy, and I'm pretty sure you probably eaten this since you're from Wisconsin. But if you go to Schwartz's Supper Club in St. Anne's and you order that king size prime rib, Pags, these dudes raise their own cattle. I mean,
Mhm.
I can't even tell you how good this freaking food is. But matter of fact, you order you give them your name, you tell them what you want, then you go to the bar, you have your drinks in this little cocktail area, and then they call your name over the loudspeaker. You give them any name you want, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then when they hear your name called, then you go to the table. When you go to the table, everything is already set up. Your salad is there, everything, and then they bring out the steak after you have your. It's a really. I
That-
will tell you, it's Wisconsin. It's a great experience.
That's what it's like at the Black Otter in Hortonville too. They're actually
Yeah.
world famous for their 10-pound prime rib. So when you go in, you usually have to wait like an hour to an hour and a half to eat because it's always a busy place because it's a smaller supper club. But when you
Plus you're trying to eat a 10-pound prime rib. Like you better pack a lunch for that dinner.
well, no, but when you
Hey, put
come
that
in,
king cut down.
when you come in
have
there, you
one
give
that's
them your
a
name.
72-ounce one. They get a 72-ounce prime rib. I don't know who the hell can eat a 72-ounce prime rib.
Like when you come in there, though, you give them your name and whatever, and how many people are in your party. So then they'll take your name down. You go sit in the bar for like 30 minutes, and then they'll
Yeah.
come and actually take your order in the bar, and you'll say, "Well, I want the prime rib. I want this, whatever." So then they'll put that in there, and anytime you get a prime rib, the salad bar comes with it, so you can actually have the salad bar as you're waiting for your actual food. And then when they call your name for your table, then like in 2 minutes of sitting at your table, here comes the big 10-pound prime rib they just drop on your table.
And when you order that old fashioned, it is a legit old fashioned. I mean, like they make the real old fashioned. It's anyway. I'm getting hungry now. But Pags, I gotta tell you, man, same thing. You come to Houston, you know I got you. Bo, you come to Houston, you know I got you. And Stat Guy, I got you, but you gotta stay at the hotel. No, I'm kidding. You got
Oh,
kids.
damn.
Hey, I'll stay at hotels. I like hotels.
I tell you, I'll be honest. I only will stay at hotels anymore. I find it's challenging to stay at somebody's house. And listen, and Rob was amazing staying with Rob.
Yeah.
When I was up in Seattle, I got to imagine that he kind of also felt a little funny. You know what I mean? It's just it's awkward when you're staying at somebody's place and you're using the couch and stuff like that. So
Well,
it's,
Well, you
Not
would
just
be using the
that,
couch.
like,
Actually, you have a
on-
queen size bed in your own bathroom and your own bathrobe and slippers. So I don't know if it's gonna be awkward for you. Sure as hell wouldn't be awkward for me because that's just how I roll, Pags. But you come to my house, you
Well,
get the VIP, baby.
It's funny though, because like when you're on all day, like sometimes you're just done peopling.
yeah.
Oh no, I understand that too. Trust me, I get what you're coming from for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're
it's
definitely
just-
gonna come to the house and get some damn barbecue, Pags. I'll be damned if you don't come to the house.
Oh,
and get some
100%. When I come to Houston,
Oh.
you're definitely going to get the phone call. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I like to
And
do
hey,
things the
Bo.
right way. It's like go out
Hey,
and eat.
bro,
And have
same thing for you, Stat Guy. If y'all come to Houston, let me know. I'll hook up some barbecue. I'll smoke it real nice. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, I mean, of course I'm in on that. I mean,
Yeah, you know what I was saying. Hey, and you're gonna get the nice, the nice whiskey. It'll be a nice little affair. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Get a little cigar. We'll go down by the smoke pit. We'll have a little
unfortunately, the
cigar.
cigars, yes. I tell you, the whiskey, a good whiskey is lost on me,
Is
unfortunately.
it really a good whiskey's
Yeah.
lost on you? Why?
Like
Why
I
is it
drink,
lost?
I drink peanut butter whiskey. You know what I mean? I drink screwball.
Oh, sure.
So
My
I-
wife drinks that stuff. I thought men didn't do that, but okay.
oh,
yeah, well, I guess what? I drink it, and I drink it like a
No,
champ.
hey, in all honesty, it actually is really good. But you have to have it by itself. Don't go mixing it with all this other crap. Just take it straight. Otherwise it kind of loses its effect. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the Crown Blackberry, it's a mixing. Don't have that straight. It's garbage. But if you mix it with something like lemonade or whatever, then it turns out
Or blackberry brandy, and then you got a little bit more blackberry in there.
Yeah, it is what it is.
yeah, those fake backgrounds are amazing there, Ant.
Yeah, I tell you, Ant, I play it all the time. I'm always on my grand piano. Let me tell you.
That's right. He's definitely the super musician sitting here. The funny thing is he has like 5,000 roommates if you look around the internet.
So, anyways, getting back to football a little bit.
Hey, let me ask you this: if McCarthy does get fired at the end of the season, which I pray to God, I hope he does.
Sure.
Like, who do you realistically do you because I've heard rumors that Jerry might go after Belichick. I think he's just going to elevate Zimmer. What do y'all think happens if that does come to fruition?
There's no way he's elevating Zimmer after the way the defense has played the last 2 weeks. That would be clinical suicide if he did that.
I
you're
agree
not
with
wrong,
you.
but if you listen to him the way he talks about Zimmer, there's a good chance.
No, there is a very good chance, and if he did that, they would be trying to run his ass out of town because this defense.
Zimmer does not belong as a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I have lived in Jerryville for a very long time, and I just know the way he works. And when Wade Phillips got the axe, Jason Garrett got the promotion. So I just got to imagine that Zimmer's a Jerry guy. This is his second stint with the Cowboys. I think Jerry just elevates his ass.
Well, and I think you might be right because again, like the way he talked about him in the press conferences over the last 2 weeks, it sure sounds like he's trying to pump up the idea that Zimmer might be a smart fit. It's not, but
it's a terrible fit.
Yeah, but I'm here for it.
I mean, Zimmer's
but on the Belichick note. As you know, when Josh McDaniels left Belichick, I mean, not only that, but obviously Brady left. I mean, there's a lot of things, right? But it's just like Belichick could never recover out there, and obviously he lost the job. What do you think Belichick would be like as a head coach without Josh McDaniels?
That's the thing. If Belichick came back, Josh McDaniels would come with him. Because that's the only way that Josh
McDaniels. I mean, you got to think they're attached to him, right?
Just for sheer entertainment value. Doug Peterson's probably going to need a job.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that Josh McDaniels or like Matt Patricia or any of these former assistants that were with Belichick have a shot to stay in the league, it would be to follow Belichick to his next job and get basically the defensive and offensive coordinator gig again. Because when those three were coaching together, that's when the Patriots had their most success. Because you had McDaniels, who was the OC in New England for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and the Patriots were great offensively. Patricia was the defensive coordinator for like 2 or 3 of those Super Bowls, and their defense was always top 10. And then you had Belichick. Like those three together have always worked so well that if Belichick does come back to the NFL as a head coach, it would be foolish for those two not to follow him.
Oh, I understand fixing it until Jerry Jones is gone. We've had this conversation and we ran that crap right into the grass. Yeah, fix. I didn't cuss. But yeah, I think if they got Belichick and Josh McDaniels, I think I would be okay with that. I mean, it had a success, right?
All right. So I'm tired of talking about the Cal turds.
Hey, look, it's not like Philly's any better, damn it.
Hey, listen, so that's why I was going to switch it up a little bit. I tell you, the hot seat was really hot yesterday.
Yeah,
with Nick Sirianni, and I tell you, I have never felt like if you were looking at this game and saying, depending on the outcome of this game, Nick Sirianni is going to get fired.
Right.
I think that you're still saying that.
What do you make of what he did, I guess, to the fans?
So the fans they're Cleveland fans that he was doing that with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I truth of the matter is that I like the fire. I don't like the way that he was doing it.
That's what I was going to ask, because he said in his press conference that a lot of his players wanted him to kind of show a little bit more fire, which obviously he did, but going about the way he did it, I kind of agree with you. Like, if you're going to show fire, it's one thing, but don't go after the opposing fans and do it, because that just makes you look like an ass.
Or even, I mean, because it's supposed to be all Eagles fans over there.
Yeah.
So it's possible that there were some Eagles fans that were in the mix on that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the fan portion of that. You know what I mean? I just saw what was going on. And I'll be honest with you, even at the end of that game, I mean, I was still like, until they made that pass and they started getting in victory formation, I still thought that there was a possibility that we could blow it. And I'll be honest, the defense played better, but I think that Cleveland's offense is white hot garbage.
Yes.
And
it's definitely garbage.
Well,
It-
so you can't really gauge the defense on it because they're so inept on offense.
I mean, you look at
Of
Kevin.
course,
Did you
they're
see
probably
Kevin
dog
Stefanski
time over
yesterday?
there.
Did you see Stefanski yesterday in the second half?
no, I did not.
It got to the point where like Deshaun Watson would get sacked or Deshaun Watson would make a bad play that he would just look at Watson and start laughing, just like whatever.
Wow.
Because there's like three plays in a row where Watson had a guy open, whether it was like a running back check down or like a short little 3-4 yard pass to the tight end where you could have gotten yards, and Watson just took the sack, and Stefanski looks at him and starts laughing like, "That's what we're gonna do here, okay."
Well, and think about that. Their biggest plays of the game, all of their biggest plays were the running back screens.
Mhm.
Everybody's down the field. You got a running back screen, 20-some yards. Another running back screen, 37 yards. Another running back screen at first down. You know what I mean? It was like, even if it was at 12 yards.
Yeah, if you have a chance to watch the film, I don't know how often like go back and like watch a game or whatever, like back, just kind of look at like things that happen. But if you have a chance to watch the film on yesterday's game, go to the fourth quarter and just watch all the possessions that Cleveland had. There's like 3 or 4 cases where it was like 2nd and 7 or like 3rd down and 5 where all Watson had to do was like dump it down to the running back or the tight end, and you have a first down or close to a first down, and instead he takes a sack or throws it away, and Stefanski literally just looks at him shaking his head, starting to laugh, basically saying, "Is this really what we're going to do here? Like, you quit on me last week, and now you're just doing dumb shit."
I mean, so like, at this point, is Stefanski, if he's being dictated that Deshaun has to be the guy, which clearly I feel like has to be the case at this point.
Yeah.
Are you just hoping to get fired?
I think honestly, I think he really is at this point. Like as much as it is to be like, as much as he wants to be an NFL head coach, which regardless of what happens, I think he'll get another job somewhere just because you look at the success he had.
No question.
Which when you look at the success he had with Cleveland before Watson got there, like he won the playoff game with Baker Mayfield. He almost beat Kansas City in the second round of the playoffs that same season.
When he had Flacco, I mean, they were playing pretty damn good under Flacco.
Like I think he'll get another job, but at this point, I think he's just like, can you just fire me, please? Because I really don't want to be here and deal with this shithole of a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he just seems like that bear caught in a bear trap. Like, do I die here? Do I just chew my leg off and hope for the best?
like in the movie Saw, like just give me the saw, I'll cut off my own damn ankle, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do after that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you feel bad for him because when you look at the rest of his coaching career, there's no way he would still have this guy on the field.
No, and you're stuck because he's guaranteed all the money.
Yep.
And truth of the matter is that really you should just next year or even this year figure out a way to bite the bullet and dump all the big salaries, or whatever, and just take the loss. Like,
does he have his own bounty gate where he pays his offensive line to just get out of the way so he gets hurt and gets hurt someone else?
Well, their best offensive lineman got hurt in the first play of the game.
Yep.
Got carted off. I mean, and this is the second week in a row, the best offense or 2 in the last 3 weeks, I think it happened in New Orleans, that the best offensive lineman got carted off the field in the first series. So there was a reason why we were getting in all the time.
I mean, if I'm Stefanski at this point, I go up to my defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, at practice this week and kind of whisper in his ear, like, I know we're not supposed to hit the quarterback at all, but can you send Myles Garrett just to level him, please? I will give you $100,000 raise if you just level him.
Yeah, but Garrett's not even going to practice, right? So
Well, it can be anybody on defense, but I'm just using Garrett as like an example. Like in practice this week, you can't hit quarterbacks. Just go up to Jim Schwartz and be like, just hit him.
right.
Just hit him a little bit.
All of the red jerseys are in the laundry. Sorry.
Yeah, like just hit him a little bit. I'll give you $100,000 raise if you just hit him a little bit, please.
And I feel bad. Obviously, Jim Schwartz is won a Super Bowl ring with the Eagles, and as his defenses have been pretty good, and actually the defense was really good.
Yeah.
The Eagles actually did have one of the best days against that defense, mostly because we know the defense. You know what I mean? We know that defense really well. It's very similar to the defense that we run. So it was actually an easy practice week in that regard. I thought that the Eagles would win, but I did not think that it was going to be as difficult as it was.
Yeah.
And I think that this is, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I was Jeff Lurie, I am seriously still considering, like, that hot seat didn't get any colder. He didn't cool off that hot seat even a little bit.
You
I-
take Sirianni out of it and let Kellen Moore go with him.
And I have said this for years, and I know I haven't said it on this show because we haven't been doing it for that long, but I have always felt that the Eagles season begins the week we play the Giants. It's always been that way. If you look back over the last 10 years, including the Super Bowl year and previous years before that, whatever happens in the Giants game becomes the way the season goes. And last year we played the Giants very late, so we played them twice in 3 weeks. And in our first game, which was on Christmas, we won, but barely, and then in the second game, we got spanked by them because nobody cared because we were in the playoffs and we were just resting to try to go to the playoffs the following week where we got spanked again. So I wouldn't be surprised that if this game is much more difficult, that it is indicative of the rest of the season. They have to figure it out right now. There is way too much talent on this team to go 0 points in the first quarter for the entire season so far. So that means we have played 5 games, 0 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, in fact, I saw kind of a crazy stat Eagles-wise that of the 6 games, there has been 12 total yards of offense.
In the first quarter?
The first drive of each game.
Yeah.
100%.
Combined.
I'm used to seeing 3 outs, 3 out, 3 out.
Yep.
That's what happens. It's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And it's bothersome. It's bothersome. And I will blame Kellen Moore in this regard because you have to do more. You have to do more. Like, listen, I'd be more apt to give it to Saquon Barkley 3 times and see if he can make his own first down rather than give it to him. He goes 4 yards. Give it to him. He goes 4 yards. And then try to throw the ball, and then you're 3 and out because it's an incomplete pass because nobody was open, because everybody knew what play you were about to run. And so this is what the Cowboys dealt with 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
Chargers,
where everything was very predictable.
Chargers dealt with it last year too.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. When the script isn't working in the beginning of the game, it's time to change the script.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad his injury is with Goddard. He was hurt in the first series as well, and he didn't make it back, which means I got a big goose egg for my fantasy team. Thank you there, Dallas.
Yeah, well, I had Lamb and Ferguson, so I understand your frustration.
But I think, well, obviously, I think that's got to be the game plan with Barkley. I mean, I think that Barkley going back there with a better offensive line. Barkley is the reason why this offense is so good at all.
Yeah.
Right now. Like I said, the accuracy of Jalen Hurts isn't been great, and especially when it comes to the long ball. He did not turn the ball over for the first time in 9 regular season games yesterday. So that was, acceptable. That was acceptable. I mean, it's like you are playing there. Garrett, did get his licks in there, and he did get he did have the assist on the touchdown. But our defense only gave up 9 points, which is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just this is bothersome to me. This is bothersome, and the Giants are playing a little bit more inspired. I won't say they're playing good. They are playing a little bit more inspired. They're not quitting on this season,
Yeah.
and they almost came back yesterday. And if they had a kicker who could kick the ball, they might have tied and maybe won the game. Who knows? But
Washington, though. I mean, they lost against the Ravens, but yeah.
No, Washington looks fantastic.
No, I think that Washington, I think that was really the game to show what Washington was all about.
For sure.
And they actually showed up pretty well too.
No,
Yeah,
I mean that was a good loss.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, like definitely a good loss. You saw things in that game where you're just like, okay, like they can compete. Like they didn't get the win, but they were right there.
Yeah, the key to me in that whole game.
Daniels, he went 269, 2 touchdowns, but then he rushed, 6 for 22. So I mean, he had a decent game considering how good that Ravens defense is.
And that's the key to me right there is like what Jaden Daniels did against that defense, 2 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. That was the key because I figured like Daniels would be able to get his whether on the ground or get some completions. But I also thought he was going to come away with multiple turnovers when you look at how good that Ravens defense really is. So to get out of that game,
the Ravens defense is not that good this year. It's not as good as previous years. So
I know that, but
Ravens.
They still give rookie quarterbacks problems.
No, and it is better than I thought it was going to be this year.
And that's why when you come out of that game with almost 300 all-purpose yards and no turnovers, it's like, okay, yeah, Jaden Daniels is legit good, and he's going to be very good for Washington for several years to come.
Yeah, as long as he can stay out of injuries, that's the only downside to Washington. He's got to stay healthy.
So it's going to, I think that as of right now, they have shown that they are the best team in the NFC East, with the way everybody's playing right now. And you can't argue that. There is no argument to that. I mean, that's like, even though the Eagles have the 3-2 record, and I think Washington's 4-2, so they actually are in the lead right now. It's still like when I watched Washington play, just a little bit of plays that I have seen of them, and I watch the Eagles play, I am seeing, it's like watching good. I'm going to compare this to a completely different sport. It's like watching professional baseball in the playoffs and watching the Chicago White Sox play against a AAA team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing with Washington too, which I will say compared to like Philly, because those are really the only 2 teams right now that have the winning record in the NFC East. When you watch Washington play, especially on offense, they have an identity. Like they know exactly what they are on offense. And then you look at Philadelphia, they have the weapons, but yet it still seems like Kellen Moore is trying to figure out what type of identity he wants to be. Like, does he want to be a run first, use Saquon, or does he want to air it out for Devontae Smith and AJ Brown? Like, it doesn't seem like Kellen Moore has figured out, like, what do I do with all these pieces right now?
Like sometimes it almost seems like he's outsmarting himself.
Yeah.
Like just stick with the things that are working.
Yeah.
Well,
like against the Packers in week 1, then against the Saints 2 weeks later, it was rely heavily on Saquon Barkley. And it worked in your favor. You came away with 2 wins in those 2 games. You take those 2 games away, it's like we don't have A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, but yet we're trying to pass the ball like we still have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but once you take away A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, everybody keys then on Barkley.
Yeah.
So that's what it's having Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and actually hurt. So they had to Calcaterra actually had a fairly good game as the tight end filling in for Dallas Goedert. And because of that, they had to start circling him in more. Like they had to, the defense had to really start to account for him because he started making some pretty big plays. And once they started to circle towards him, and that's what gave Smith the 38-yard touchdown. That's what gave A.J. Brown. It was one-on-one coverage. And really, I'm going to say 75% of the time, AJ Brown's going to win that battle. So, we do have the pieces. We do have the potential here. I am beginning to really wonder: is this the quarterback deciding what he wants to do in comparison to what he's being told to do, or is it the team making poor decisions? And that's the hard part to figure out right now as a fan.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a collective effort for sure.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So,
That's
a shame.
That's what they asked one day. What do you want to do to fix the Cowboys? I said, well, get rid of the owner and basically strip the whole damn team and start over, because with the cap and everything, it's just horrible.
Rob, I tell you, even though that maybe even sound like a good idea.
You know where Salah's going.
I don't know where Salah's going, but that's beside.
You know, say San Francisco.
He's going back to San Francisco.
And that being said, it's too hard to change your defense midseason.
Oh, no question.
You can't really do that, and they learned that lesson last year.
Yep. Going from Desai to Patricia.
Yeah, I mean, it was when you went from Desai to Patricia, and Patricia tried to change the defense in its entirety, it didn't work, and that's what has to happen here. Like, I'm not a fan anymore of the Vic Fangio offense. Our defense. I mean, he's not. I want a defense that can spell the word blitz.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
He did blitz a couple of times, but his blitzers are so hidden and are easy to pick up a lot of the time. The moment that they lost their best offensive lineman, they weren't able to pick it up as well, and that's why we were able to get, I think, 5 sacks on the day. But it was just bad. You know, I think it's just bad. And I think that this is where the owners, are dabbling a little too much.
Mhm.
So, I mean, obviously Jeffrey Lurie, is probably giving a lot more free rein to Howie Roseman to be able to make these decisions. But the coaching, and they have been very good throughout the last choices of coaches. I've trusted them on their choices of coaches, but I think that their choices have shelf lives, and that's what I'm learning now. Like, it's like that these guys are
5 or 6 year shelf life.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about, like, when you made the joke, like, hey, putting Doug Peterson in Dallas. Wouldn't it be interesting? You put Doug Peterson in Dallas as the head coach, and you bring in Sirianni as his offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Because that's feasible to have happen here, because the one person that combines them was the offensive coordinator during the Super Bowl season, and that is, who was the backup quarterback for Buffalo? Who am I talking about? Who got fired from the Panthers?
Oh, was it?
I'm so bad with these friggin' names, and I know it's.
What was the question?
He was the Colts coach, and then he was
Shane Steichen.
Was it Frank Reich?
Frank Reich. Yeah. So, and that's the common denominator between the two of them, and ultimately, you maybe put the two of them back together, and you keep Sirianni doing what he was able to do best.
Yeah.
And that was just be offensive coordinator. The problem I run into is that who was really doing that? Was it Frank Reich?
Well,
Why isn't Frank Reich an offensive coordinator again then, if that's the case?
I mean, you look at it though, like all the years of success that Sirianni's had, he's always had that good coaching staff with him. Like Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon were both the offense and defensive coordinators, and then all of a sudden they leave. The offense hasn't been the same since Steichen left. And the defense, same thing. They have not been the same since Jonathan Gannon left. So you have to wonder if Sirianni did a good job filling those vacancies with who he's brought in.
Yeah, but Jonathan Gannon, the problem I had with Jonathan Gannon was the same problem that I have with these guys.
Yeah.
Again, another guy who is part of this We are not going to get beat big. We're
Mhm.
just going to make you have to dink and dunk us, and then we're going to make sure that we know how to tackle. Well, sometimes we know how to tackle, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part with this, because when they break tackles, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Angers me to no end,
Yeah.
because I have pads on and I can make the tackle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think all the NFLs like that. They've kind of gotten away from the fundamentals of tackling. They do this sidearm stuff. They get in front of the guy and put your whole weight in. I mean, or
Yeah,
they'll
I
wrap
mean,
a ball, or they try to go at the leg rather than the waist. I mean,
there's way too much throw a shoulder and hope they fall over.
I hope they get them knocked out.
It
Yeah.
is the most frustrating thing to watch. Like,
Yeah.
pretend like your arms exist.
Yeah. And not only that, they changed that rule about the hip tackle. You know
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
have you seen one called at all? Because
Yeah,
I tell you, I've
everybody
seen
does drop
four.
down tackle.
I've seen 4 of these on highlights
Mhm.
Yeah.
where it was a hip tackle, and they have
Two of
not
them were in the
called it.
Cowboys game. I forget.
I've seen more horse collar tackles this year that aren't even horse collars.
Yeah.
Well, but they've included that if you even grab the jersey back there,
Yeah.
they're going to call it.
Which is stupid.
But
Yeah,
are you
the
allowed to?
only
But are you
way-
allowed to horse collar if he's in the quarterback? If he's in the pocket, are you? Is
If
it
he's
legal in the
between the
pocket?
tackles, if he's between the tackles, you can horse collar him.
Right. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
That
Okay.
is the only place on the field you're allowed to do it.
right. Okay.
So, but ultimately, and they'll probably call it. Like, I wouldn't do it either, because they'll
Yeah.
probably call it. It's been, like, just I'm just not excited about the Eagles' play right now. And I mean, I was telling everybody, people were coming up to me and asking me, how'd you feel about that? And I says, well, I won't call it a good win. I won't call it a big win, but we can call it a win. You know what I mean? And I've been seeing a lot of losses lately, so I am happy to take that on.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean you'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss every time.
Every
Yeah.
time.
Every time. Now, what we started it with is it doesn't help Sirianni's job.
Not even a little
Ugly
bit.
wins do not help you get off the hot seat,
No.
especially when it's an ugly win against a bad team.
A team that you should have throttled.
Yeah, I mean, you should have throttled that team.
Correct.
So
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
One
glad that
thing
they
that
won,
would've been the
because I
Raiders.
stayed in my suicide pool. I did pick the Eagles to win this week, and that's because I wanted to get them off my list. I'm like, okay, they win this week. I think they got to win no matter what, and a win is a win, no matter how we get it. That is correct, there,
that
Chris.
is exactly right.
But it's it didn't make me feel good, and it didn't make me change the hot seat. Like,
Mhm.
I needed them to come out and put up 40.
Yeah, you needed them to beat the brakes off them because
Yeah.
they have an offense that can't score. They can't even move the ball. So for it to be as close as it was is actually kind of worrisome.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And what did work for them, every other team saw now. Every other team saw. It was literally, hey, listen, all you have to do is just, do a freaking screen pass. That the screen passes kill us. They
Mhm.
kill us every friggin' time. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, why aren't we at least leaving? If you're playing that type of zone, maybe you need to have that part of the zone come up a little bit more or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this. This is why I prefer, like, if you have some speed, and we don't have that speed right now because we have a little bit of older guys. But now I think with Cooper DeJean getting more play time, I think that now that Jeremiah Trotter is starting to get on the field a little bit more, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who can do a little bit of coverage,
Yeah.
and then you also have, like, Slay is just a little too slow. He's good at the coverage, and people stay away from him because he's got the name, but he does not have the speed, which means that you have to keep him on zone. You can't do man-to-man. I want to see a lot more man-to-man, and I want to see them go and blitz. And
Mhm.
that's where I want to see the one guy get free and us pressure the quarterback so that he has to make a decision faster.
Yeah.
Like, even the sacks that they had yesterday would not have been sacks against any quarterback who actually wants to play fastball.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I
And-
mean, one of the things from around the league, not just an Eagles problem, but is you're watching guys over pursue
Yep.
in crazy ways. Like you're watching guys leave their zones. You're watching them break in on stuff and not remain outside contained. And you're watching these huge plays go down the sidelines and stuff because people just aren't staying home, or you have safeties that are breaking down rather than somebody staying back. Because if everybody breaks down and they get through that first line and nobody stayed home, you're off to the races. Like you're watching just bad fundamental football.
Yeah.
And it's across the league, and it is absolutely frustrating to watch because sometimes when you're the free safety, you're just kind of not in the play because you're the safety. It's in the name. Like you got to hang out, make sure that nobody beats you over the top. Like that's the whole idea behind it. And you'll watch them like break way down and try and stop a running play. It's like, well, I mean, like I get it. You want to try and make the play, but sometimes just making a play becomes the play.
I really hope that Hooker and Overshawn hear what you just said, Bo, because clearly our safeties do nothing to help over the top. Literally, just go watch the Giants.
You guys are out of position all the time. That defense is out of position nonstop.
All the time. I know. I agree. Totally.
Like there were a few plays during that game. I watched your safeties get sucked inside. I was like, oh, you guys are about to get destroyed.
Yeah. When Bland is an outside, you got a weak guy like Carson. I mean, these dudes are getting beat every time. It's like watching the fat kid try to catch the quick kid. It never happens. It's like, what the hell?
Hey, that's
So,
where
yeah.
you're relying on the turf monster.
So since Jay
you're not lying. Damn.
So since Jay just brought the Cowboys back up briefly, I think it's time for people to start.
The water's warm.
I think it's time for people to start talking about the NFC North being the best division in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
and we will do that right after we talk about True Fusion Gym right here in the Pacific Northwest. Use the QR code on the screen for a free 5-day pass at any of the 3 locations, whether it's Ballard, Bellevue, or University Village. Pilates, boot camp, yoga, hot rooms. Find your edge at True Fusion Gym. And of course, if you are into sports betting, you can bet right alongside us here at Coast to Coast by using the QR code on the screen. With Bet Us, 125% of your initial deposit, up to 3 of those. And of course, there is a 10% bet guarantee. If you just happen to be bad at it, be sure to bet responsibly. And there are conditions that apply. All right, go ahead. NFC North, let's go.
Every team in that division
for to get help for over betting or whatever,
we probably should do that. Yeah.
Every team in the NFC North right now is at least 4-2 or better. You have one team 5-0, one team 4-1. The Packers and Bears are both 4-2. There was talks this morning that people are saying every team in that division is going to make the playoffs, which I don't see that happening. I think the Bears come back to life a little bit when they start facing quality opponents because all of their wins have come against superior opponents who they should beat. Like they beat the Titans, they beat the Panthers, they beat the Jaguars. I mean, those are teams that you should beat. But
here's the thing, though.
It's the way they're winning, which is why it's kind of stands out. Like the Lions dismantled them.
That division has a schedule that actually favors that idea because they actually play a lot of just bad teams.
And it's not that they're just winning against these bad teams. They are absolutely dismantling these bad teams like a good team should do. Like when a good team faces a team.
I wouldn't be that excited about that Jags win.
Well, I'm just saying though. But that's my point though. The Jags win for the Bears though. The Bears are a better team than the Jags. When you face a team that you're better than, you should go out and kick the crap out of them though. Like they're not like all these wins are not even close games. Like the Packers against the Cardinals, you should go out there and kick the Cardinals' ass, which they did.
The thing is you are probably not getting all 4 teams in because you're in your own. They're all in the same division, which means they're going to beat each other up.
Yeah.
So odds are one of them misses.
But I think 3 of the 4. I think 3 of the 4 get in, and the team I think the team that misses is Chicago, not because they're not going to be good enough to get in, but I think Philly and Washington will make it out of the NFC East just because those teams I think will both beat up on the Giants and the Cowboys enough where they can bank enough wins to get in. But that NFC North right now was supposed to be one of the weaker divisions, and it looks like a damn good division top to bottom with all 4 teams right now.
Yeah, so Chris, They have 2 in a row, and they do every year because their owner has a soccer team over there and has a contract with one of the stadiums. So they have a 10-year contract basically for one of the games, and then the NFL gives them basically the 2 games back to back. So they have one home game and one away game, and that just has a lot to do with their owner.
Yeah.
And then this obviously was a huge hit to the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson breaks his tibia, and
hell yeah.
you know, pretty brutal. Friendly fire too. It was his own guy. It was as he kind of swung around, caught his shin on the other guy and snapped it right in half. The good thing about it is, it won't be career ending or anything, but obviously his season's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I never like to see anybody, especially like when the way Nick Chubb went out not too long ago, the way he went out. You just hate to see those kind of injuries because it really does. This sucks.
Yeah, you never want to see guys go down. I mean, like it's not how you want to win games. Obviously in this one, it was already a blowout. He probably didn't even need to be playing anymore. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, you never want to see guys get beat up, and you don't want guys missing when your team plays them either, right? You want to see your team beat the best teams.
Yeah, because we have Detroit next week, and now without Hutchinson, it's like, well, that makes things a little bit easier for our offensive line because we don't have to guard them. But now it's a case of if we beat Detroit, are people going to look at it and be like, well, they didn't have Hutchinson because Hawkinson's supposed to be back on our end on offense.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been better if both teams were full strength and just watch them go at it. Like, that'll be a fantastic game. Unfortunately, he's not going to be there, but it's still a good team even without him.
I know I think if you could flex games this early in the season, which I don't think you can start flexing until week 13 or something like that, week 14.
No, I think it's before then. I think it's like week 8.
Is it week 8?
Yeah, I think week 8 or 9 is when they start having some. I don't think you can do Thursday night, but I think you can elevate from a Sunday to a Sunday night. I think is
because the Minnesota Detroit game this Sunday would be the one that you would want to flex into Sunday night this week.
Sure.
Because that game is going to be
I know we're
freaking
almost out of here, but can we talk just a little bit of that college football? And obviously, we had Oregon beating Ohio. And
so before we do, can we just say how terrible Sunday Night Football was?
What are you talking about? It was great.
That game
no,
was.
No, it was rough. It was.
I
rough.
know that I was being sarcastic.
That game was
Oh,
bad.
It was terrible. That just shows you how far the Bengals have fallen. The last
that was a
few
game
years.
you would assume would have been a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Like that. That was terrible. All right, go ahead. Ohio State drops to Oregon.
I really just wanted to talk first about the Red River shootout, man. We went in there and destroyed them, man. 34-3 was the final score on that. It was almost like Oklahoma did. Whether they weren't ready for us or they just said hell with it and didn't show up because we just tore them left or right. Now I think there was an issue with Oklahoma. They got quarterback. I think they had a quarterback issue, but geez, man. I mean, for the 120th meeting.
I love that you've already packed in the season and switched out to Longhorns in your name there. You're just like, you know what? Cowboy season's done.
Oh, yeah.
Sad
Oh,
panda.
Look. See, that's how you survive as a Cowboys fan over 3 decades of this, okay? You have got to learn to have alternate teams that can get you through the rough times, okay?
So is that TV behind you? Is that TV behind you turned off or is it broken?
Oh, no, it's just turned off right now, yeah.
Do you still have a Cowboys
I
jersey?
see you went with that. I see where you went with that. Okay. I mean, you can't take it off, but I'm not that kind of
Oh, you can take it off. Trust me. I've seen Cowboys fans rip TVs off.
Hey, look, I'll tell you like I tell my therapist. I might yell, scream, bitch, and holler, but I'll be damned if I break my own shit.
Oh, here we go. He can qualify for comeback player of the year. You're not wrong. He will be able to do that. And it won't be because he was just bad or didn't play. He actually has an injury.
So,
Wow.
here's
I
another
just
thing.
think that, when Bama beat Georgia, which they should. I mean, I understand why they got the number 1 spot because that was the biggest game. But I think now people are starting to understand that this Texas team, you can't just overlook these guys. Like these guys, they know what they're doing. They're playing.
What are you talking about?
Really
we were
good
talking
football.
before the year even started that they were a favorite for a national
No,
championship.
I'm not saying you guys specifically. I'm saying other podcasts on Facebook, that I associate with. They hate Longhorns. I mean, they're all horns down. So not on this show. It's just other shows that.
I got you.
I want to say his name,
was
but
that,
Frankie
Max?
Cruz Jr. He's a Bama fan, and Melvin Johnson. I think he might be a Bama fan. They give me crap all the time about how Texas wasn't the legit number 1 team.
I got you.
And then of course they go shit the bed against what was it?
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. Yeah, they go shit the bed with Vanderbilt, and then
Vanderbilt just went on the
everybody's
road to beat
quiet.
Kentucky.
Nobody
And then
wants to
almost
learn.
lose again.
Yeah.
To South Carolina.
Oh yeah, South Carolina. Yeah.
Vanderbilt ripped off again, though.
Listen, and that's what happens when a team loses a bad game the next week. Bet that other team. I would bet. I tell you, I'm starting to really want to gamble some because I've been telling people.
You need the 1-800 number. If not, you can bet with us.
Yeah,
at
that's right.
So, anyways, there's a very interesting story that's coming out of college that could wind up being a real situation.
Okay.
Army and Navy are both undefeated.
Yep.
Army
Yeah,
is
it
6-0,
blows my
Navy
mind.
is
Matter of fact,
5-0.
Army, isn't Army ranked like 21 or 22?
Army's got the longest winning streak in the nation, yet they have 11 straight wins dating back to last year. So this is not just a small sample size for Army. Like, Army's actually put together a pretty legit program right now.
So, interestingly enough, it's possible that both teams could wind up undefeated.
Yep.
That's
This.
insane.
They would play for the conference title
Against each other.
the week before they play each other.
Mhm.
So it's possible
They play
the
each other.
winner of that conference gets an automatic bid to the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh wow.
If they were to win that game, say that Navy wins that game, the
Sure.
following week when they play the Army-Navy game, if Army was to then win that game, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
That's
If
very
you- if
odd
you-
that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
And
If you
truth of the
look at
matter is
Texas
that if they're
A&M
both 13-0, there's a
Yeah.
good chance that both of them should make it.
That's crazy. Midshipman. Wow.
The Black
That
Knights,
blew my mind, man.
the midshipmen, the Black Knights.
Yep.
So
I'll tell you
it's
what.
gonna be-
If University of Texas can't win the national title, then I would say I'm a split guy. I mean, I'm always going to go Army because of my brotherhood, but I do have Navy ties and stuff. Matter of fact, you should have seen when the Army Navy game played in my platoon. They used to give me so much hell because I was, both branches, and that never flies well in the Army. But yeah.
Right. Well, and that's like I said, it was one of the things. It was one of the better videos I made it even at
That's
the Mets
amazing.
game
Yeah.
when I was talking to a captain,
Yeah.
and she was a Mets fan. I'm like, listen, we may not agree on the field, but we got one thing in common: go Navy, beat Army. You know what I mean? And that's and immediately all the Army people come in, all the Navy people come in. That's what makes it fun. I love doing that. I'm actually considering going to that game.
It would be a hell of a game. It would be a hell of a game.
100%. I think it's actually up at West Point this year.
Is it West Point or is it in a bigger stadium?
Well, it should be in a bigger stadium, but
I thought because didn't they used to play that game at the Link?
well, you're the stat guy. You tell me.
Well, no, because I know
They normally do play it at the
they
Link.
normally played at
but
the
they-
Link.
they-
That's why. Let me see if I can figure
That
it out.
guy's slipping, man. Hey, real quick while he's doing that. Hey, Bo, I don't know if you can see this real well, but that's the general from the 101st Rakisans.
Okay.
And then next to him that's his daughter, and then the guy next to that's her husband. But that's actually at what's the Seattle Seahawks Stadium,
Lumen.
and they got to go out there because they're casing up the colors for 133.
So the
they
Army
kind of did that in honor of them.
Oh, that's cool.
So the Army Navy game will be played in Washington D.C. where the Commanders play.
FedEx. There we go.
Army Navy is at FedEx.
Such a crappy stadium.
It is.
Damn it. All right, so yeah, but I'm thinking about going down to that game. I think it would be a worthwhile game to see,
Oh, for sure.
especially if they're undefeated, both teams. I would actually reach out to Navy and have them give me a jersey, so I would paint up in Navy colors. I would actually, I would go all out. The Navy jersey that I have is their astronaut jersey, and I'm not a fan of that jersey.
You know what?
Yeah.
You should do that, and I'm gonna submit to Army, and I'm gonna dress up my Army jersey, and then I'm just gonna tackle the hell out of you. That would be a
I feel like that-
Good luck with that. Good luck
I
with
feel
that.
like
Hey, hey,
that
listen,
I want to
you're bigger
watch.
than I am, and you're slow.
Like now, all of a sudden, I want to be at this game just for sheer entertainment value, and I wouldn't even have to watch the game.
I would, yeah, I'd be
will
watching
say
you guys
this,
just
I do
battle
think
it out.
Alex should probably take me because I do have 2 surgically replaced knees, so you might get me. I don't know, but it's gonna be
Not
a
only
hell
would
of
I
a
get you, you might have a nail appointment or something that you couldn't make the game. You know what I mean?
It's like Samson's hair.
Uh,
Dear God.
Since you've been painting, all your teams have been losing. So, just
I
saying,
know. I
Yeah.
tried to pull a Caleb Williams. I guess it's not working, man. Damn.
because he plays for Chicago.
and if you've been watching along with us today, be
All
sure
this
to like and
nonsense.
subscribe. We can bring you more nonsense tomorrow. If you are on Roku, be sure to stay tuned for the next hour. Other than that, we will see you all on Tuesday. Take it easy, everybody.